When people think about Red Orchestra 2, one of the immediate descriptions that come to mind is PTSD simulator. That is usually associated with body parts coming off, blood, screams and moans. And indeed, when it comes to response on the receiving end, the game, especially for its time, was quite decently good. However, one aspect gets a little overlooked. In my opinion, it doesn't get enough credit in this game, and it is overlooked in pretty much every other wargame I can think of. As you can guess by the title, that aspect is the aftermath. I'm Valentin the Mad, and in this video I'll be talking about how Red Orchestra 2 did that exceptionally well, where most wargames miss it out, and how it can be enhanced today. Just to emphasize, this is mainly aimed at multiplayer war-themed shooters. Other types of games can have other approaches, some of which were discussed here on the channel. Now, let's begin. Red Orchestra 2 has a config file, which is accessible, and it offers options that you don't have in the in-game menu, such as how long bodies can stay, and a similar config for the decals. So you indeed can have every single body, bloodstain, bleeding stain, and blood pool remain. You only have wounds and severed limbs vanish. When you have a possibility of about 5 or 600 spawn tickets per side, calling the results just impactful to me feels like an understatement. Especially when, as I mentioned, in a game like this, it isn't a common sight. As for the performance, just about any decent gaming machine now should be able to run it fine, but even on the AMD 7970 I had back then, I could have pretty much the entire aftermath. Towards the end of a long round there was a frame drop, one that you could very much notice, but far from the single-digit FPS you might otherwise expect. And once again, it is entirely in your hands. You don't have to keep every single dead character for the whole game. What made it possible is that shortly after death you would have the ragdoll sleep. Basically freeze, and it would only move if more ragdolls are piling up. So characters running over, gunfire or explosions have no effect whatsoever. It means that for the vast majority of time, most ragdolls are entirely static, which is what allows for the minimal performance impact. In short, what puts it apart is that the relevant settings are accessible and the ragdolls are for the most part gonna be static. They won't be kicked around whenever a grenade goes off. I do want to emphasize once again, the mess is entirely client-side. So whether you want the competitive advantage or if you prefer the immersion, it is up to you. Alright, so we're talking about a PTSD simulator, wasting blood and bodies, and that means the art store promo has to be of something really cute. Vespas on their own are just absolutely adorable, and we kinda felt like dialing that factor to 11. Few things do it more than a cat with a "please pet me" look. We have more cute animals, cool cars, and combinations thereof. No dropshipping, never AI, my mom is the artist and I'm handling the fulfillment. So that is a way to support the channel and get something physical from me. The links are in the description and the pinned comment. Now there are several ways the experience can be enhanced, particularly with the new versions of the engines. A feature we're now seeing increasingly be used for non-dismembering body damage is damage painting. It can just reveal blood at the point of impact, or even offer a degree of a multi-way response for the bullet hole or for explosives. It doesn't have to be massively detailed, and it doesn't have to be exaggerated either. You can have a realistic, more mild implementation of that. That realistic, basic implementation can potentially be easier on performance than wound decals, so it is possible we could have persistent, non-dismembering damage too. As I mentioned, after falling, the ragdolls are set to sleep, and I would advocate for one more thing to awaken them: a big enough explosion. Not to send them flying, but rather for a natural cleanup, deleting the body into a stain and some gips. The gips could vanish after some time. But once again, that should be reserved only for a big enough explosion. And I will say carefully, a synchronization of the mess is becoming increasingly possible, and perhaps in some cases it is worth looking into. It will hit different when you're actually crawling, taking cover behind, or running over a pile of bodies that wasn't pre-placed, that formed in front of you over time as you were playing, by your very own teammates or by the enemies. But once again, that is a maybe in some cases. The focus in this video is on client-side configurability and letting the player decide. In the bottom line, the goal here is to make Aftermath become a part of the definition of a PTSD simulator. As you can see, it can be done and the results are very impactful. If you agree, do share this video where it would be appropriate, initiate discussion, and hopefully we'll see it become a factor in more games. I'll see you on the next one.